Hey guys, what's going on? Striker here. So you've either bought a ticket for Milsim West or you're thinking about going to a Milsim West event. Either way, these are going to be the top 10 things you should know before going to an event. Alright, so let's start off with number one, having a Facebook account. This is very important to have. A lot of planning goes on Facebook. Roughly around 1 month before the event even happens, faction groups are going to start opening up on Facebook. You'll get an invite to those. Once you join those, you'll find out what platoon you're in and what squad you're in. You'll also get an invite to join your platoon group. Once you get into that, you'll most likely get an invite to join your squad chat. This is a great opportunity to get to know everybody inside your squad before even going to the event. From there, you're going to get to know who your squad leader is and who your team leader is. Also, who's going to be medic, who's going to be DMR, and so on. This is a great time to get to know the guys and to start planning. You will also receive what they call an op board. The op board is going to explain what your mission is going to be during the event, pretty much what you're going to be doing. So again, it's highly recommend that you get a Facebook account, even if it's just for the event. It really will help you a lot. All right, so let's get into number two, night vision goggles. Don't break your bank trying to get NVGs. But if you can afford it, I really highly recommend you go for it. It makes a big difference. Nighttime is, well, half of the event. So if you want to experience the event in full, I'd really highly recommend getting the NVGs, but you need to be prepared for it. They sometimes sell out really fast. All right, so what you need to do is check out this website. The link will be in the description down below. As soon as you know that you are going to an event and you know that you're gonna have the money to rent the NVGs, rent them. Now the nice thing about this company is that they bring the NVGs to you to the event. All right, as soon as you get to the event, they'll be right there. You just need to give them your ID. And once the event is over, you just bring them back to the parking lot. They'll pick them up from you and give your ID back and you're good to go. Again, renting NVGs is a must. I promise you, you won't regret them. All right, so let's talk about number three, hurry up and wait. Once you get to the event, you're gonna have to go through check-in. You'll go through check-in, check in your gear, and go through Corona Station. Once you're done with all that, there's nothing else to do but wait. Yeah, but that's because the cadres, they have to do the same thing for all the other players. Not only that, but they have to get organized and make sure that the safety brief is ready for both teams. They have to separate all the bags of BBs. They have to make sure that everyone gets their tourniquet. I've got to make sure that everyone has their flyers, everything. There's so much that they have to do. But it's not exactly always waiting. So if one of the cadres are available to do some training, they will pull you and your squad or your platoon aside and do some training while you wait. Sometimes the cadres will also set up a sand table and then go over the entire mission with you. So that op board that you got, they will go over that whole thing with you before it is time. And if you find yourself waiting and you're not with the cadre doing anything, try to get some rest, try to get some sleep as much as possible, because as soon as the event starts, you're going to be fighting all night long. I still strongly recommend you get to the event on time. The sooner you get there, then the more organized your squad and your platoon can be. And if like I said, if there is wait time, that's when I use that time to get some rest. All right, speaking of resting, let's talk about number four, sleeping. So don't expect to get a whole lot of sleep during the event. Normally I get about 3 to 5 hours of sleep each night, but that's because everybody has to do their part on pulling watch. Even when you're done pulling watch and you get to lay down and close your eyes, it's usually when it happens, when a platoon or a squad comes in and attacks. Also, sometimes your squad or your platoon will plan a nighttime attack. This is actually pretty common, and this is a great time to use those NVGs that you rented. A couple things that I recommend keeping you awake is having some snacks to munch on. Also, if you have a buddy going with you, make sure he's on watch with you in the rotation. Having somebody there with you to talk to is a major plus. So try to get as much sleep as possible before you go to the event. I know it's hard. It's your first event. You're super excited. I remember my first time. It was super hard to get some sleep, but you got to try your best to get some sleep, because the more sleep that you can get, the better experience that you are going to have at your first event. All right, so let's get into number 5, pyro. Before you go out and buy your grenades and smokes, make sure you go check out the event on the Facebook page and make sure that it's even allowed. In the event description, you will see if pyro is going to be allowed or not. If it is not allowed, there is a chance that it might still be allowed, but sometimes only if it rains the week before. I've heard of many people buying pyro for the event that they're going to, but just to find out that it's not even allowed. So make sure you check that before purchasing anything, and that includes smoke grenades as well. If it has a flame, it's pyro. All right, so let's get into number 6, food and water. I've had a lot of people ask me, do I really need to bring water to supply me for 40 hours? The answer is no. You only need to provide enough water for yourself for the first night. When you get to your fob, they'll have big water containers there for you to fill up your water bladder or your canteen. As for food, I recommend mountain houses. Mountain houses are very nice. They're light and they're compact for rucking in. I usually bring 2 breakfast meals and 3 dinner meals. I also recommend bringing some snacks. Again, like what we talked about, snacks are good for night watch. They're also good to have in between meals. All right, number 7, lace reports. Lace reports is something everybody should know, not just the PL or the SL or the TL. Everybody should know. LACE stands for liquid, ammo, casualties, and equipment. It is very important that everybody should know this. LACE reports are very important for your PL to know. It is his responsibility to make sure that all of his guys are supplied and ready. How this works is that the PL will ask the SLs for a LACE report. The SLs will then go to their TLs. The TLs will gather the information and then send it all the way back to the PL through the SLs. The PL will then use this information to gather some ammo or some medic water, or if somebody in that squad has had a gun gone down, maybe somebody else in the platoon has brought a spare gun that that person can use. That's why it's very important for the PL, your PL, to have that information. So make sure you learn up on the LACE reports. What I like to do is the notepad that you are required to bring, in the back of that I write down LACE, liquid, ammo, casualties, equipment. All right, number 8, split the gear. Not everybody in your squad needs to bring all of the same gear. Some of you guys can split some of that gear, except the red items. Each individual player has to make sure that they have the red item. What we normally do is make sure that 1 out of 3 people have those items. So for instance, like a stove or a shovel or binoculars. Not everybody needs to bring those items. This will help reduce the weight in your rucksack. All right, number 9, roles. So if you're going solo to the event, then this is perfect for you, because they actually have a lot of roles that you can play as a player. For instance, RTO or medic, or even the PL. You can be the PL if you want it to be. Most of the time, these roles are going to be available for you. If they're not, you can always ask if you can be put into a different platoon that has that role available for you. If you're worried that you're not going to be able to do a good job of playing that role, don't worry about that. That's what the cadre is there for. They're there to help you and teach you. All right, number 10, read the TACSOP. It is very important that you go through the TACSOP, all right? There's a lot of information in there, I know. You can't memorize all of it. But if you have a question, go to the TACSOP first. Most of the questions that you're gonna have, the answers are going to be in the TACSOP. What I did is I downloaded the TACSOP and I put it on the front screen of my phone. That way, if I have any questions, it's very easy to go to very quick, and I can scroll through it and find the answers that I need. You can find the TACSOP on MSW's website. Make sure you click on the right one and download that one. I will also have a link in the description down below. All right guys, that's my top 10 tips for going to a Milsim West event. If you have any questions, comment down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And for 2022, I do plan on going to 3 of those events. And if you don't want to miss the footage of those events, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks guys, see you next time.